All right, so today's show is focused on different investment strategies and also queries related to your investment portfolio. And for all of this, today I have on the show Nitesh Buddhadev, founder Nimit Consultancy. Nitesh, good evening and welcome to the show. And Nitesh, before we get on to our strategy-specific questions from you and even the viewers' portfolio, we have something very special on the show. We are going to talk about the difference between gross SIP and net SIP inflows. Now, a massive surge that we are seeing in our SIPs, crossing 24,000 crore, and the net SIP inflows and in fact come around 8,900 crore. What does this actually mean? How do you decode the difference between this? And how do you understand this data? So there's an in-depth conversation that's been done with AMFI CEO Venkat, Nageswar, Chalasani. Let's listen to it first. A lot has been talked about the net SIP numbers also. It's a data that AMFI actually publishes every month. It's just that people maybe just need to work a little more harder and look deeper into it. But then I have you today with me, and I really want your help to help our viewers to understand how do we look at these numbers. So investor interest and investor investments through SIP and mutual funds is very much intact. We know this. The market peaked a high in July. We've seen all of that. The investors are looking at really huge chunk of profit in their portfolio, which they might want to use for their goals, or maybe have goals aligned for which they want to book their profit. So what's the investor story behind the numbers that we are seeing?
Yeah, thank you, Kavita, for having me in this particular show. And it's equally important for me to clarify on the numbers. As you rightly said, that we do publish monthly the data, but the interpretation of these numbers is something which is extremely important. So the point that you're talking about SIPs, and there are a lot of narratives that are coming out in the media. So we need to be clear about it as to what's happening.
Sure.
We talk about a gross inflows, as you rightly mentioned, there is around 24,000 crores that has come in the month of July. And during this particular financial year itself, around 84,000 crores has come into SIP numbers. And of course, the cumulative figure is around 13 lakh crores, which is almost around 20% of my total portfolio. Let me again, I know all of you are aware of it, but these SIPs are sum total of monthly installments that are being invested by lakhs and crores of investors. As we speak now, it's around 9.33 crores of investors who are putting these SIP numbers. And every month, they do invest in small bits and pieces. Sure. On an average, if you look at it, it works out around 2,400 rupees per ticket per investor. Having said this, now, people are talking about net flows. Yeah. Normally, as an AMFI, we only give the gross flows. We do not speak about net outflows. The reason being, it's very obvious. I mean, you are getting cumulative, it's a sum total of every month flows. But as an investor, if you and I are investors, why do we start SIPs? I would have started around 5 years back. And I decided that I'll put every month around 10,000 rupees into this SIP.
Sure.
And I have set my goals for 5 years, saying that after 5 years, I would like to buy a car or would like to go for a house, margin money, or whatever I have decided, and therefore I have started my SIP. Then I accumulate around 30 lakh rupees, because it's a 5 years. Once I do that, and I redeem it. So the outflows is a combination of redemption on maturity, sure, which I take it for my own purposes, redemption on account of switching from one scheme to another scheme,
right,
redemption on account of cancellation, okay, and it could be also because I decided to withdraw it and keep it for myself, which you said that maybe because people might think about volatility, but it is into 4 parts. Okay. And it is procured over a period of 5 years or 6 years, or even a short duration, 1 year or 2 years. It's not outflow of that particular month.
Okay.
It's an outflow from SIP portfolio, there is absolutely no doubt about it. But it's sum total of the investments that I did over a period of time. And therefore, taking these numbers and saying, reducing from the gross and saying that, look, there is a outflow, net inflow is only such a small amount, is not right. Let us take a scenario where we have got only 5 lakh, the inflows are growing,
right.
but accumulated figure becomes around much more than what I would like to, what the inflows are.
Right.
Then there could be a negative net inflows also.
True.
Then people would say that there is a negative inflow. For God's sake, please don't take that number. The number that I need to look at is the gross flows that are coming in, and outflows are reflected in my scheme-wise inflows, outflows that are there, because they're in bulk amount that are going out, procured over a period of time.
Sure, sure. So the new money is coming in. That's
Correct.
intact,
Correct.
right?
That's 23,000 crores every
Exactly,
month.
yeah.
So there, if you look at the way in which the portfolio is growing from 10 lakh crores to 13 lakh crores, so that's a new real money that is coming. Of course, it is sum total of the actual inflows plus the mark to market, which happens even in my AUM. So that's how it works. Like today, as I speak now, it is 13 lakh crores. From 10 lakh crores, it has grown to 13 lakh crores. There is a part of it has come from the actual inflows, and part of it has come from the mark-to-market gains.
Right, right. We are also looking at this money going to NFOs and new active schemes that mutual fund houses are launching. So when you talk about switching money to different funds or different portfolios, is that what you mean, the money getting circulated there?
So what happens is there are two things that happen also.
Sure.
One more thing that can happen, like I keep investing every month 10,000 rupees. I have decided that part of it I would like to redeem it. Like I have accumulated around 50 lakhs and I decide that, okay, 40 lakhs I would like to redeem and put it in an NFO, new fund offering that has come. But I continue to put my 1 lakh or whatever amount that I am doing in SIP, that will continue. So here again, should it create panicky? Absolutely no. I am moving my money from the SIP overall that I have accumulated into another scheme within the mutual fund industry. And that's how the mutual fund industry is growing.
Right, exactly. So talking about the lowest ticket size in SIP, what's the average number?
As I said earlier, it is 2,500.
2,500.
As we speak now, approximately 2,450 to 2,500. Because if you look at as I said again, we have 9 crore 35 lakh investors, and you are getting 23,000 crores. So approximately it works out to 2,400 rupees.
Right. And
2,450, sorry, yeah.
And when we talk about non-SIP numbers, which is mostly in lump sum, that is growing, and what's the net inflow over there?
The net inflow, like as we speak,
it's a part of. Yeah.
It's like last month, if you look at, it was approximately 1,40,000 crores that has come into this particular scheme.
Okay.
So there was a quantum jump in our AUM. It's almost touching around 65 lakh crores.
Which is very normal to expect in this kind of a bull market?
There are two parts of it. One, the bulk amount, to the SIP. SIP is something that, as an investor, you are also doing a financial literacy. Even an AMFI, one of the important role that I play is educating my people, making them aware. And most important thing is we keep telling them that if you are a long-term investor and if you are investing every month, you should not be really worried about the volatility in the market. So volatility is there. I mean, markets are subject to this volatility, and therefore that's the reason why we keep saying that mutual funds are subject to market risk. But having said that, if you want to beat the volatility for a longer tenure, and SIPs is something which is extremely important, and that's what we are communicating to the people, and that is the reason why you find more and more savers coming into the market and getting converted into investors and being a part of the growth story of the country. Right. Today, the mutual fund, thankfully, because of faith of the investors, because of the transparency that we have, and the controls that are being put in place by the industry and the regulators, and with the help of the distributors, the industry is growing, and the dependency on the FI flows. I mean, while they are extremely important, it's that retail flows are also helping the markets to grow. And we are happy that our investors, retail investors, are getting the advantage of the growth story of the country.
Absolutely. One last question to you and then we'll wrap up the discussion. Next month data, how do you want our viewers to look at it, the AMFI number data?
No, it's like we'll have to see what is the net flows that is coming into the overall AUM. What is going to be the mark to market? Is the flow, are the people still having faith, which I'm sure will continue to do it. And in respect of SIP flows, it has to be gross flows. Don't look at net flows, because obviously the net flow is a procurement of accumulated money over a period of time. Right. It is not comparing apples to apples.
Absolutely. So a lot of investor mindset, investor behavior and goal aligning that comes into play, which needs to be considered whenever you're looking at these numbers. Thank you so much for taking time out and clarifying and explaining our viewers the right way to look at it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
much. That
much.
will be all. Thank you so much for watching. All right.